Steve Musgrave, Wellness Council. We just completed our seminar, our luncheon meeting of the Wellness Council, and thanks to Steve Pelham from H Choices, he's videotaping this and giving you a 3-minute break to see what you missed. Our speaker today was Anita Keene, who's written this book recently on Amazon. You too can purchase it. How do I know? Your Guide to Decision-Making Mastery. And Anita wowed the crowd, I think, and they said stress is the new normal, so that's what they had as a takeaway. So with that.
Okay, well, my topic today is stress is the new normal, how decisions and how stress affects our decisions. Basically, all the statistics that I gave you in the introduction video were representing where we make decisions to create the results. So, if we create results that we don't like, how do we go about it? Because here's the thing, when you're stressed, you actually make a decision to maintain the status quo. Okay? So when you're maintaining the status quo, that means you're doing what you're doing even though you know that it doesn't work. And it's like you can't make yourself do it any differently. It's pretty scary actually, and that goes down to the very simple things. Can be down to what you eat. You might choose the foods that support stress rather than choose the foods that will support balance. I can guarantee you when you're stressed you won't think of a salad, you'll be thinking of the cake or the simple things. You won't do the exercise that you need to do even though that hugely influences and releases stress from your body. So let me give you some background on why stress is the new comfort zone. The thought instructs the brain, which is our chemical factory, what to release in the body. Our body's response is our feelings and emotions. So our body is feedback to what that thought is. When we lose that interpretation of what that response is, stress becomes our new normal. It drops under the radar. You know the way when you're learning to drive a car, I've just taught my son recently. First of all, he started and he had his hands really tight on the wheel, trying to remember everything. It was a big stressful situation for him. But over time, he became more accustomed to actually driving normally, and now is a very relaxed driver and loves it. Well, this is how stress drops in under the radar also. My son learned what he needed to learn to keep the association, I'm a good driver. He didn't store the stress. But with us and stress, what happens is we associate work with stress initially. Not all the time, but it grows to the work stress. Work and stress become one point, and we lose the interpretation of the emotion as a result. So with stress as the new comfort zone, our results in our life don't show up as stress. They show up as imbalances. Imbalance in our relationships, imbalance in our work, maybe imbalance between work-life balance. We might have a brilliant work life and a tough home life, or vice versa. Now there's very simple reasons for this, and inside, physiologically inside, the blood in stress actually goes to our amygdala in our brain, which is our caveman brain. It's our survival part of our brain, and that naturally triggers a whole cascade of chemicals that we know to be stress and to feel like stress in our body. When this happens, we don't have our problem-solving facilities. Our decisions become to protect what we're doing already. They become defensive or aggressive. We say, oh my God, I'm staying doing what I'm doing. I can't do one more thing different. Or they're saying whatever new that's being introduced is wrong, or is bad, or it won't work. And we make up loads of excuses why that doesn't happen. Now, when we learn to do the simple exercises that I teach through my program in the Keene method, peak performance strategies, and this particular one is the drive strategy, you can actually use a very simple way of bringing your blood back to your forebrain. Now, the drive strategy is simple, and you bring it back to your forebrain because when you do that, you're back in your logical, problem-solving mindset, which is what you need to solve a problem. Your stress mindset will continue to keep you doing what you're doing, even though the result isn't working. So the drive strategy is really simple. It's determine your inner stress loop. Recover that interpretation where your emotions are informing you rather than trying to push them away. The R is about recognizing your own triggers. How is stress showing up in your life? We don't really see it unless it becomes a headache, so we need to figure it out before it becomes a headache. What happens is, when it's not a headache, it actually shows up maybe in a conflict, maybe in an argument with someone, maybe you have a little accident, you break your taillight, maybe you're running around so much that you're not focusing the way you need to in your life, so it doesn't show up as stress so much, but as conflict in your life, an imbalance in your life. So that's the R. I is where the Keen method comes in to give you these simple, powerful and effective techniques that help you actually break the pattern. Simply holding your forehead like this will bring the blood back to your forebrain, especially if you breathe with it and you find the stress chemicals calm in your body and you're able to think clearly again, okay? The V is verify. Because stress is under the radar now, it's become a habit. When stress is a habit, that means we do it over and over again, even though we don't need to. And learning how and when to stress and when it's useful rather than using you. In other words, working stress rather than stress working you is a fantastic learning to have. The V for verification means that you're proving, oh, this works. Oh, I don't need to stress for this. And what you're doing is you're actually telling your brain, I don't need to stress for that one anymore, thank you very much. And you're restoring balance to your whole being, your thought process, your emotion, which is fear, and your body, of course. Because when you're not stressed, you're at ease. Okay, so for further information, please don't hesitate to contact me. My details are there on the board. Anita@thekeenmethod.com, or go to my website. The book that I have written, that I was actually presenting today, is a very simple, non-confrontational way of showing your associates how stress affects their decisions, or how beliefs and emotions affect their decisions. And in behind that, I have an in-book report that actually talks about insider secrets that busy professionals use to get great results under pressure. The important thing here, the training is, we can't affect the work is going to stay the same. What we affect is how we bring our genius to that work rather than our stress.